Krista is tapping on the keys and pressing buttons just as the lights start to come up on her console at the navigator station on board the Stinger. And as she looks up, one of the cameras on the bridge turns on, and in the little panel on the right side of the screen, she sees the image of the cockpit camera, and behind it, she sees a shadow and somebody reaching up and about to strike her, and she dives sideways out of the way as a masked figure in dark clothing with a large nightstick-like club slams it down on the console and just barely misses, cracking her over the head. The figure drops the nightstick from the reverberation and steps back, surprised that he's been discovered. And the battle begins. Hello and welcome. I am Scrapperlock. This is Starforged Alpha Cluster. We are with Krista, our sort of lore hunting, relic hunting character. And in the last scene, she was having a conversation with her friend Zephyr, aka Rowena, and Zephyr's friend Dagger, aka Mina. And as they discussed things, Krista was trying to kind of become better friends, shall we say, with Zephyr, and Zephyr told the story of how when they were in school together, they were lab partners, they were working on a project, and Krista abandoned her to go off and follow Pyro into the stars and didn't tell her that she was leaving, and Zephyr's still kind of mad about that and being left holding the bag on that project. So Krista swore an iron vow to find a relic that's currently missing from the sector. The people on Dead Rock had found an artifact, and they sent it to Relic Station to Zephyr to be analyzed, and they were ambushed by raiders, and the raiders stole the artifact and took it somewhere. So Krista agreed to try and find it. So now she's got to figure out where the raiders are. In the meantime, she kind of made a connection with Dagger, and they started to become friends. And then she went to the administrator's office, and she had to use some credits to bribe the secretary to let her into the administrator's office. While she was there, she asked the administrator what he knows about the raiders, and he actually agreed to let her get on board this Stinger ship that's a sort of a large three-man fighter craft that the raiders use to raid. But when she asked if she could take it and fly away with it to use it to get to the raiders, he said no, and the price on that was he contacted someone to basically take her out. Apparently he's secretly working with the raiders, and he doesn't want them to be discovered, because then his connection to them might be discovered or something, perhaps. So she went to the cockpit. She started working inside the cockpit on this navigator station and trying to repair it. And she is a scavenger and stuff, and she knows how to do these things. So she was able to repair it. But just as she did that, this guy who I'm using a scrap bandit for, I don't know that he's really a scrap bandit, but I think the pirates are scrap bandits. So maybe he's one of them. I don't know. But I demoted him from dangerous to troublesome, and that's because she got an opportunity, right? That she saw him when he came in, and she dodged out of the way. And I think it's just going to be easier for her to win this fight because she got a strong hit with a match to enter the fray. So that's the opportunity. So he has sort of dropped his weapon, and now he's kind of stuck there. I don't know if he's got another weapon on him. He might. And Krista has the initiative. And so things work a little bit differently in Starforged than Ironsworn, so you're going to have to bear with me as I figure out how to do the combat. But there are two options: gaining ground when you have the initiative, when you're in control, they call it, instead of having initiative. You can take action to reinforce your position or move toward an objective, envision your approach, and make a roll. And the other option is the same as Ironsworn, the strike, when you are in control and you assault a foe in close quarters and so on. She's in close quarters right now. She does have a gun. But I think what Chris is going to do is reach for that right in this square here, that the stick that he tried to hit her with. I think it's actually not wooden. I think it's a metal pole. It's probably some piece of pipe that belongs on a starship or something that he grabbed from a supply room, and he went to hit her with it, and she dodged out of the way, and he banged it on the console and like lost his grip on it. And so she is going to dive. So they both dive for it, right? But she's in control, so she gets to go first. So Chris is going to dive for that thing and try to grab it. So I think this is gaining ground. Is this maneuvering? She's not powering through. She's maneuvering. So I think this is plus edge. So she's going to try to gain ground plus edge. And unlike the old secure advantage with the Ironsworn moves, in this we can actually mark progress. So that is one of the options if we get a strong hit or a weak hit. So I'm going to use the progress track of the bad guy here to track our progress in the battle rather than making up another one. I think this will work, but you'll have to bear with me. The other thing I want to say is I've made a little bit of map, obviously, of this cockpit. So the pilot and co-pilot up here, the navigator down here, there's some other controls, and there's light coming in from the outside. And what we're seeing is from Krista's perspective. So she's going to try to grab for the iron rod. So the first thing she's going to do is grab for it, and we're going to gain ground plus edge. And we get a miss, but we can burn momentum to get a strong hit. Let's do it. So we burn momentum, and we get a strong hit. So she grabs, so she goes for it, and he goes for it too, and she kind of elbows him out of the way and grabs and picks up the iron rod, and she's going to turn around with it now. We got a strong hit, so we can mark progress, take momentum, or add +1 on our new move. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to mark progress, and we're going to, let's take the 2 momentum. So she has 4 momentum, and she's going to sort of step back, and she's going to backhand swing this thing right at the guy. Maybe what she's going to do is she's going to jab him right in the stomach with it and see if she can, like, knock the wind out of him. Just jab him in the stomach or maybe the solar plexus. That's kind of what she's aiming for. So now she's going to strike at him, right? And this is going to be not her best stat. This is going to be iron because she is in close quarters and she's going to just jam it into him. Now, Krista does have a gun, but I don't think she wants to shoot and kill this guy, right? Additionally, she's pretty close to him, and she would need to kind of back up and pull the gun out and that sort of thing. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to just jam him with this iron stick and this iron pipe and see if she can knock the wind out of him. So she's going to strike him. Now, one of the things is you don't do harm with weapons and stuff. You're not doing harm anymore in this game. In case you're used to it from Ironsworn, you're just making progress in the fight. So she's going to jam him in the gut and see if she can get him. So let's strike. And we're rolling iron. We don't have any bonuses, so we'll just go ahead and roll it. And we rolled well. We get a strong hit. We mark progress twice. You dominate your foe and stay in control. So she jams him in the belly, and as he leans over, she brings the pipe up and clocks him under the chin. And we mark progress twice. Bam, bam. She hits him twice, and we stay in control. And because we're in control, she can try to end the fight right now. So she's going to take decisive action. So when you seize control of the fight, envision what we're going to do. So she is going to just turn around and just try to knock him on the backside of the head as he bends over and just take him out of the fight and end the battle. So let's go ahead and can we roll progress on this? It doesn't look like it. Take decisive action. It doesn't bring up anything. No. That's not what we want. That's paying the price. No, that's not what we want. We just had to roll progress, and I guess there's no way to make a progress roll on this track that I can see. So I'm just going to have to roll 2 10-sided dice, and we're rolling at 9 progress. So we got to hope we get less than 9s, and we get an 8 and a 6. So that is a strong hit. So this guy is taken out. She knocks him unconscious. and he's been defeated. So let's just sort of delete his thing. And now you can see the whole entire ship. And Krista's breathing hard. She's like, what the heck? Um, so she throws the metal pipe away down to the other side of the cockpit. And she bends down and she kind of like, um, let's see, she's going to like, actually, she's going to come over to this computer over here and reach around behind it and grab some cable and just pull it out and then come back to the guy and tie his hands and tie his feet so that he's stuck. And she brings him over here and stuffs him into this chair. Maybe she stuffs him into the chair, let's say that, and she ties him to the chair. And so he's stuck there. And she then she's going to go out to the door, which is where here. She's going to go out to this door. There isn't an independent light source here. It's kind of funky. But anyway, she's going to go to this door, open the door, and the door. So she's going to go out the back of the ship, walk down the gangway and through the airlock, and open the door and look inside. And she just sees the security officer who was standing there when she went in coming back down the hall. And she says, "Excuse me, officer, weren't you supposed to be here guarding this this ship?" And he said, "Well, I was, but since you were on board, I figured I didn't have to guard it, so I went and took a coffee break." And Krista says, "Well, somebody just attacked me in here." And he says, "Excuse me?" Now, he was told to leave, so he may know that she was supposed to be attacked. Does he know that she was supposed to be attacked? Let's see. I think it's unlikely. He just knows he was asked to leave his space. So I think it's unlikely, but let's ask the Oracle. Does he know? And no, he doesn't. So he doesn't know that this was part of the plan. He may suspect that something fishy is going on, but he doesn't know that that was part of the plan. And she says, "Yeah, this guy just attacked me. He tried to hit me with an iron rod." And he says, "Okay." And so he comes in and he unties the guy and carries him like a fireman lift and carries the unconscious man out. And he's going to take him to the brig. So now Krista is still here. And what she wants to do is figure out where the pirates are. And she's brought up the console. She's repaired it and she's got the navigation system going. So now what she wants to do is figure out where are the pirates, right? And that's kind of that's the first step on her vow, right? Is she's got to locate their hideout. So she is going to sit down here and she's going to start typing in and she's going to start going through menus and scrolling and typing in things and trying to guess some passwords and stuff. And what she's going to try to do is see if she can find out where the pirates are, where the raiders are located. Where is their base? Does this thing have like the equivalent of a GPS in it that can tell her where they came from? Remember that in space, if you're not using the plotted drifts, you have to use the uncharted drifts. So do they maybe have a drift that they have recorded, but they haven't given to anybody else that leads to a planet and a settlement, that sort of thing? So I think that that's what she's looking for, and I think she's gathering information here. Oh, and by the way, we took decisive action. We gained +1 momentum. So she has 5 momentum. All right, so she's going to secure advantage, analyzing, doing research, investigating, etc. So gathering information. So what happens? Oh my gosh. That is a complication. That is a miss. So now we have to pay the price. And the question is what price we're going to pay. So let me take a look at this. Okay, so I think I know what this is. Our action has, where is it? Somewhere it says your action has an unintended consequences. Has an unintended effect, right? So I think, and then we have to do not a story clue, but a story complication. So let's roll that. let's see. Key location is made. Hang on. So let me look at this one first. Okay, I think the enemy is going to benefit from our actions, and also on pay the price here. We have an unintended effect. So here's what I think happens. She's fiddling around with the controls, trying to bring up a star map, and she hits something, and instead it brings up a communication, right? And so the vid screen comes on, and all of a sudden there's this unfamiliar face, guy with a beard, kind of looks rough, and he says, "Yes, we're receiving you." And Krista looks and says, "Hello? Who is this?" And he says, "Who are you?" And he looks down at his controls and he says, "You're calling from Stinger O2. Who are you? What do you want?" And she realizes, oh gosh, this is the Raiders. And she says, sorry, everything's fine here. Just miscommunication," and hits the button and turns it off. But she has now alerted the Raiders that somebody's got control of one of their ships and is mecking around, right? So she's been unable to find out where they are, and they are now on alert to her. So the Raiders now know somebody is messing around on one of their ships, which means it's going to make them much more alert for anybody coming into their base, right? So she wouldn't be able to like take this Stinger O2 now and try to get into the base because they've used it. They know that the transponder has somebody who's not one of them at the controls. So she sees the little light going on. The communication is trying to be reestablished and stuff. And she immediately just shuts down everything and turns it all off. But it may be that now they know where this is. They know somebody's on board it that's not one of them. And they realize that they may be in danger. Right? So she's basically she's tipped her hand. And I think that's the consequence. And she doesn't know where the Raiders are. So she's going to have to conduct another investigation herself. So let's go back to the system map. And Krista, reluctantly, with the computer off, turns and leaves the ship and goes back into the outer ring of Relic Station, and she walks back around to Module O4 where Zephyr is, and in there is Zephyr. She's kind of looking through the microscope at a relic, and Krista walks in and she says, "Well, I thought I had a lead, but I think I just made everything worse." And Zephyr says, "What do you mean?" And she says, "Well, I went to see the administrator." And Zephyr's eyes widened. "You went to see the administrator? Why?" And she said, "Well, I asked him to, let me get on board one of the raiders, the raider that was captured." "Oh," she says, "yeah." And Princess says, "Well, he let me go on board, and I was able to start up the navigation console, but this guy all dressed in black attacked me with a metal pipe, and I had to like knock him out." "You were attacked?" Zephyr's like, "Look, I didn't mean, when I told you this, I didn't mean that you had to like risk your life here. Why would somebody attack you?" And Krista says, "I don't know, but I think I made things worse." And Zephyr says, "What do you mean?" And Krista says, "Well, after I knocked the guy out and I told the security officer and he took him to the brig, I was able to start up the navigation console, and I was looking for a map, and I think I accidentally opened communications with the Raiders, and they might know that I'm looking for them." And Zephyr says, "Oh, this is too dangerous. Maybe you should just give up on this, Krista." And Krista says, "No, I promised you." And she kind of clutches her shirt where the scrap of the Ophion is. She says, "I promised you on the Ophion's hull that I would do this, and I will, but I'm going to have to do some more investigating to see if I can figure out where these raiders are. And maybe the people at one of the other settlements in this sector know." So I think I'm going to head to, and let me look at the sector here. She says, "I think I'm going to head to Dead Rock and see what they can tell me about these drift pirates. So Zephyr says, all right, well, listen, Jackpot, be careful. Because I didn't mean for you to get killed doing this. I really just was being a little ornery, I guess. And Krista smiles and says, well, you always were, but you're right. I owe you an archaeology project, so I'll help you this one time for old time's sake. And Zephyr gives her a hug and says, just be careful. And Krista says, I'm not sure what that guy was. I'm not sure why he attacked me. I don't know how he knew that I was even in there. Maybe he was following me. I'm not really sure. And Zephyr says, so maybe, was he in the cantina with us? There were a few people in there. Maybe he overheard us. And Krista says, well, if that's true, then that means there might be raiders on board this station. And Zephyr sort of shrugs and says, well, I'm not necessarily surprised about that given the way the administrator is. And Krista looks at her and so is Krista going to suspect that the administrator may be in on this? I think I need to make a roll of some sort since I'm making up the story. What should we roll? Let me think about this. I think this is facing danger. It's wits, right? And the question is she smart enough to figure this out? If we miss, then no, she's not. I don't think we're going to do any additional like paying of the price. The price is she hasn't figured out that the administrator is trouble. If it's a weak hit, she has suspicions. If it's a strong hit, she's got very strong suspicions. So let's see. We're rolling wits. And that is a weak hit. So, so she suspects that the administrator is maybe undermining her, but probably not that he is with the raiders, which is what we think may be happening. So now let me think about what sort of a suffer move we're going to make. Lose momentum. I think we're going to lose momentum. So it's a minor setback. She loses 1 momentum. Right? She spends some time thinking about this, and she says, I wonder if the administrator's somewhat involved here. And Zephyr says, yeah, I don't know. But I know he's definitely not a super honest guy, and I'm pretty sure that that's true. Is Deadrock? Now, see, Deadrock has a tolerant authority, so Deadrock might be worth it. Brink is also has an oppressive authority, but not corrupt, and is slightly larger. But Deadrock is the one with the trouble, right? Their trouble is preyed upon by raiders. So let's go there first. So Krista bids farewell to Zephyr, and she heads to her ship, and she gets in the storm swept, and she fires it up. So now, just for fun, I decided to actually create the interior of the storm swept. And so there's 3 levels. So this is here is like the bridge with the pilot, the navigator, and the co-pilot here. This is derived from the interior of this map here, right? But I couldn't make it exact because the mapping system just doesn't work exactly that way. So I just did the best I could with it. So this is a ladder that leads up to the shuttle bay. There's I don't think she has a shuttle though. She doesn't have any extra vehicles yet. And there's a gunnery port back here. She's got her own room in here with a bedroom and her own private bathroom. So the captain's quarters. This is the crew's quarters. Then these are bunk beds as passenger quarters. The mess hall, or what do they call it on the ship? The galley, the lavatory, the latrine. And then this leads to engineering. This is sort of an open deck with a railing, and you climb down here. This is the engine room. We have a regular, like the generator here, and then we have the what is it called? The Eidolon engine here, the E-drive. And then we have a cargo hold. And these are empty rooms for modules that she could get for her ship. And same thing over here. And then she's got a research lab and a med bay. And then up in the front, we have the sensor array and the avionics. So that's kind of the ship. And so Krista climbs aboard. She gets herself in the pilot's chair. And she is going to leave, undock from Relic Station. And she is going to attempt a drift passage along a known passageway to the Dead Rock system. So that's what she's going to try to do. So let's put her in the drift. And because it's a known passage, she can do a single shot, right? She can, what is it called, set a course. When you follow a known route through perilous space across hazardous terrain and so on, roll plus supply. So she only got 4 supply right now because because we lost a little bit of supply when she had to pay some credits in the previous session. So it looks like, that's right, we can't, it doesn't automatically roll it for you, so we'll roll it here. So we're rolling supply, and we get a strong hit. And on a strong hit, we reach our destination, and the situation there favors us. So she goes through the drift passage all the way through, and she reaches Dead Rock in a single move. And so she just engages the Eidolon drive and goes through however many 7 light years to Dead Rock and to the planet Cinder. So she comes out of the drift, and there in front of her is the big, giant, glowing, volcanic planet of Cinder, and somewhere on its surface is Dead Rock, the settlement. And the atmosphere is toxic but not corrosive, so she needs her environment suit. And it's overrun with some kind of life. And I'm not sure what kind of life it's overrun with. We'll have to ask the Oracle about that. So she heads into the atmosphere below the steaming volcanic clouds, and she sees seas of magma and a gigantic volcano. And then a little further away, there's a large mountain range that's kind of cooled and dried from the volcanic eruption. And built into it is this irregular shaped hulking settlement that's part of one of these giant Exodus Titan ships that's just been like slammed into the side of the mountain and lodged there. And they're like, the old hangar port is there as the hangar, and everything is kind of sealed under a dome. And there's like an opening in the dome. It sort of opens like an airlock, and her ship goes through it, and then it closes behind her. And then there's another opening in front of her, and she goes through the dome. And then there's atmosphere in here, and like breathable. And she lands on the hangar, in the hangar bay, and she's now reached Dead Rock Station. All right, so guys, one of the things I think we want to do is figure out what kind of a life form we have here. So these are land creatures, I believe, or possibly liquid. But let's see, like, how big are they? And the scale is small. So they are small, dog-sized creatures. So are they living in the magma? I think they're living on the land. So let's make them land creatures. 35. They are bipedal. Okay. And our first look is that they are covered in fur or hair, and they have a single eye. All right, bipedal, single eye, and furry. And these are called magma cyclops. So let's just sort of, so these things like live on the surface. I don't know if they're hostile or not. Settlement trouble for Dead Rock is not hostility. So my guess is maybe they're not sentient and they just kind of live among the rocks and they're resistant to all of the superheated stuff. And I think that's kind of I think that's what we've got. I like that idea. So let me just fix the text here. Okay. So she sees some of these magma dogs um, down below as she enters, but there isn't anything like living that's going to be hostile to the station. So she exits and she comes into Dead Rock, and it's inside this repurposed ship. So once you're inside the hangar, then all you have around like she's inside the ship, so it's inside. There's nothing outside because all you have outside is the furnace world, right? So um, she walks down the hangar, and there is a uh, kind of a like an air traffic controller guy who's sitting at a desk, dealing with people landing and taking off. And he nods to her and he says, "Please register your ship." And she comes in and she fills out the ship on a data pad. She fills out her ship's registry and everything. And she says, and he says, "So what are you here for?" And she says, "Well, I heard that you guys had some entertainment here." Oh yes, we have the nightly shows. And she says, "Well, I came to take in some shows, and I also wanted to ask some questions about what's been happening with the raiders that you guys have had plaguing this settlement lately. Is there somebody I could talk to about that?" So I think this is gather information. And oh, we get a miss. So is this guy in the employ of the Raiders, perhaps? Or is maybe the person, maybe I know. Okay, so pay the price could be a complication, right? Um, so a surprising development complicates your quest. I think that there is somebody who knows about the Raiders, and he's gone missing in the mines. How does that sound? I think that sounds cool. I'm not even going to roll for that. So let me make up the guy, whoever this is, and then I will bring you guys back. All right. So his name is Brennan Shelton, and so what the space traffic controllers tells her is he says, well, we had our settlement had a patrolman, a scout who used to scout through the sector and try to keep a lookout for trouble and try to find the raiders and stuff. And um, Brennan's the guy you'd want to talk to because he's dealt with the raiders a lot. But he also does scouting here on the surface, and we had some trouble in the mine, and he went down there to see if he could help out, and he hasn't come back. So I'm not sure what I can tell you about that other than he's missing. And Krista thinks, okay, so that means I'm going to have to go find this guy now and see if I can rescue him in order to um, in order to figure this out, right? Since he has the information. So she says, "Oh, well, how long has he been missing?" And I don't know. How many days has he been missing? Let's just roll. He's been missing for 5 days. And Krista says, 5 days sounds like a long time. That doesn't sound good. Are you sure he isn't dead? And they say, well, we don't really know. He went down into the one mine that's been trouble, and there's been issues down there. The miners have been afraid to go back, and you'd have to ask the miners for more detail. But because I don't know, I'm a space traffic controller. I'm not a miner, but yeah, it's been trouble. They refused to go down. The mining authority has allowed them not to go because I guess there's enough danger down there, and so yeah, you're gonna have to investigate this yourself, I guess, if you really want to find Brennan, because it's not my job. So Krista turns away from him, and as she sort of walks away, she pulls out her chain and she takes the little fragment of the Ophion and puts it in her hand, and she says, "All right, I guess now I'm going to swear an iron vow to find and rescue Brennan." And so now we have to do another vow. So the first thing we have to do is actually swear the vow before I forget to do that. And that is here, right? She's swearing upon iron to complete a quest. Well, let's see how we do. Strong hit. She's emboldened and it's clear what she has to do. Take +2 momentum. Okay, so let me set this up, and then I will bring you guys back. All right, we're back, and I guess we're going to finish up. So we're rescuing Brennan from Cindermine. I think this is a dangerous vow. I've got 4 steps with a possible 5th because I'm not sure if there may be something else. First thing she's got to do is have to ask around to find out what the trouble is in the mine. She's going to need to get to the mine. She's going to need to find Brennan and bring him back. She also needs to ask him about what the heck is going on with the raiders and where to find them. And so I think that's where we are. She's got to go find Brennan and ask him about the raiders so that she can figure out where the raiders are, just do her other vow. And so the vows multiply like breeding rabbits. We have 4 of them now. Not made any progress on any of them, but we made certainly some progress during the session, and we're now in another settlement and exploring another area, so that's pretty cool. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I certainly have. I'm really enjoying this character. I like having a high wits character. I mean, she's not going to be great in combat. She's okay, but I like having a character who's smart and figures things out. So that's pretty cool. We do have some good momentum now. We have 7, so that's nice to see. And next thing she's going to be doing is, securing, advantaging, gathering information and stuff about what's going on in the mine, so she can prepare for whatever the dangers are. I also have to make a note to myself. Let me do that right now. Session 5. I have to make a note to myself. Repair the multi-scanner. She might need to do that too. Maybe she's going to have to drop that off at the repair shop or something to get it fixed. So that's where we are, and next time we will continue with scanning Dead Rock. Until next time, I am Scrapperlock, and this has been Starforged Alpha Cluster.